Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
All right, it is Friday, ladies and gentlemen. You guys got a couple hours until your work day is over, if it isn't already, and then you're going to be getting out there and enjoying the weekend. Good for you. I am going to do exactly the same. I had a chance this morning to go to a lovely, lovely breakfast that was put on by the 4th District Republican Club, and it really was, oh man, it was awesome. Really, really enjoyed it. We had a lot of speakers there. Pamela Evett was there. Alan Wilson was there. Cody Simpson, Danny Lee Ford was there. I mean, we had all kinds of people there. It was a big, big event today, and it really was pretty amazing. And I had some very interesting conversations because everything, now we know that we've got these three races. We got the governor's race. We got David Stumbo was there and David Pasco was there. I didn't see Stephen Goldfinch, but we've got the governor's race, the attorney general's race, and the agricultural commissioner race coming up on Tuesday. We've also got some other district races as well. I don't have one of those, but you might. Now, if you need to know exactly who is up for election in these runoffs, go to scvotes.gov. That's scvotes.gov. And download your sample ballot. That's the best way you can do it. Make sure you know who you're voting for in these races. But lots of conversations today. And one of the conversations that I had was with Attorney General Alan Wilson. And he told me, he said this, and I do believe him to be extremely sincere. He said, Charlie, if I win this race, I want you to hold me accountable. He said, I will be available to you. I will be available to your station. He said, and I'm pretty sure it won't be like, hey, give me a call in 5 minutes, but it'll be, he'll be available to the station and this show. And he said, listen, I want you to grill me. I want you to grill me. I want you to hold my feet to the fire, and I'm going to take him up on that, 100%. Let's go to Brad in Taylor's. Brad, welcome. How are you?
Just a dumb question that I have. I'm hearing ads that are being run against Danny Lee Ford.
Yeah.
How is his voting record out there?
Okay. Did you send a text a few minutes ago?
I did.
Okay. I was about to answer your text over on the text line, but I'll do it right here. That's great. I love to have your call. So here's what happens. Like you and I, we don't have access to that information. Okay. But there are certain groups can purchase voter information. All right. They cannot find out how a person voted, but what they can do is they can find out if a person voted and if a person voted in a Republican or a Democrat primary. So that information is available for purchase. And I believe the accusation that is out there is that Danny Lee Ford did not vote in 2016, he did not vote in 2020, and he did not vote in 2024.
I'm okay with that, but I assumed it was private record. But if somebody can purchase information, they can see where I vote.
They can't. They can't. They cannot see who you voted for.
But they can see which party I voted for.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
Well, I mean, I'll stand my ground and tell you where I stand, but
sure.
Obviously, I stand with WRD 9 out of 10 times.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, Brad, very much, man. You have a lovely, lovely weekend. That information's for sale out there. You can go. The GOP, they've got access to it. The Democrats have access to it, and all of that. Why do you think when you vote, you get all those text messages, right? So, yeah. Oh, could it be that we're going to stop getting those text messages? I got like 5 of them today already. But anyway, getting back to some of our conversations, and part of the conversation that we just had, one of us is about this radio station. And I was talking about this to Josiah Magnuson. And he said, Charlie, I believe this to be true. He said, how do we get this station to the rest of the state? And that's, you would not believe how many people I've had come up and ask me the exact same question. We've had that over the past couple of weeks. Like, Charlie, how do we get this station to the rest of the state? All right, it's, first of all, if you want to do it over the air, over the airwaves, like a lot of people are listening, you're riding around in your car, you listen over the airwaves, that is practically an impossibility, okay? We would have to have arrangements from the FCC. We would have to have translators all over the state. There's a little radio term there. They had to put up these translators all over the state, and it would be a very difficult thing to do. But there is an easy way to do it. It's a very easy way to do it, and that's with the app. You know, there used to be a time people would walk around with little portable radios. They'd have them on a little tether. Or if you go back when I was growing up, people had these big boom boxes that they would carry on their shoulders, you know, and they'd be, you know, with their disco and all of that stuff. But now you've just got your phone. And anybody in the state, and we should be marketing this all across the state, anybody in the state can tune in to either iHeartRadio or the Odyssey app, and you can pick up the station 24/7. It is right there available to you because I will guarantee you this. If everybody in this state had this radio station, this would be a different state. This would be a much different state. It truly would. You got the big talk station in Columbia. They've got one local morning show. That's it. You go down to Charleston, same thing. Not a whole lot going on there. Now in Columbia, you got Kevin Cohen. He's got his little station there, and he's doing pretty well. You got Corey Allen down in the Low Country. He's doing what he can on an internet-based format. But other than that, these people, they're not getting what's happening here. And they don't have a voice. What you have here in the upstate is amazing. You have a voice, and that's what we're here for, is to give you a voice. So now this is a little twofold here. We'll keep giving you the voice, but you got to keep supporting this station. You got to keep supporting this station. You got to keep supporting our advertisers. You got to get in on the stream. We're streaming right now. I'm on, what am I on? I'm on 2 Facebooks. I'm on 2 X's. I'm on YouTube. And what is this one that I'm on here? I don't even know what this is. Did you put me up on this? I don't even know who this is. On some other streaming platform that I don't even know about. But you guys got to do it. You got to do it. Let's go to Wayne in Spartanburg about breakfast this morning. What's going on, Wayne?
Hello, Charlie. How are you, sir?
I'm great, sir. What's up?
Great. Hey, I'm just wondering. I'm a little confused about the breakfast this morning. You know, it was an amazing event. I'll say that. But what I was kind of surprised in, I've heard that both the 4th District and some of the folks that are with that club, they're all about the Trump-backed candidates. They always talk about the Trump-backed candidates.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised they had all the rest of them up there when you're establishment and you're brainwashed and a loyal GOPer, you're going to vote for Simpson and you're going to vote for Yvette. So I don't know why they keep having these forms and all this other stuff when they already the die is cast if you're an establishment.
Well, I don't believe the die is cast, and I'll tell you what, Nate and all of those people, they try, publicly, they try to be non-partisan or whatever how they want to call it.
Right.
But they give everybody the opportunity.
Well, I follow them on Facebook, and they're for the Trump-backed candidate. That's who they pull for.
So they would be for Pamela Yvette.
Yes, they would.
Well, I know a lot of them that aren't for Pamela Yvette. I know a lot of them are for Alan Wilson.
They better watch it. They're going to get their little elephant card full.
No, I think they'll be okay. I appreciate it, Wayne. Let's go to Matt in Simpsonville. Matt, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
I'm good, bud. What's up?
Nothing. I'm just saying if the legislature can pork barrel $300,000 for a lesbian podcast.
Yeah.
As soon as we get maybe Alan Wilson in the governor's, we should be able to have him do some line item veto where we can advertise for WORD in the Midlands and the low part of the state and get the word out, because they are, as you've said, tragically misinformed.
They are
tragic.
That is such a good way to put it. They are tragically misinformed. And when we had our governor's series here on WORD, I asked Alan Wilson about all of those earmarks, and he said veto, 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 veto. He would have line item vetoed a lot of those earmarks.
Yeah, keep the WORD line item though. You want to highlight that one.
I appreciate it, Matt. Thank you, buddy. You have a great weekend. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Tara, Bill, Charlie, Joey, and me, Mike Gallagher. We lead the conversation each and every day on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program, Friday afternoon. Well, one of the big questions that have been asked over the past few weeks and maybe even months now is who will Pamela Vett pick as her lieutenant governor? Everybody was wondering. Everybody thought it might be Henry McMaster. Then there was a rumor going on that it'll be Gil Gatch, a state legislator with a Freedom Index score of 19. Well, Pamela Evett narrowed it down this today. Let's take a listen to this.
My list for consideration as the next lieutenant governor of South Carolina is as follows. Joe Semsar, a successful business leader and Trump appointee. Adam Morgan, Jordan Pace, and Patrick Hadden, true conservatives. Warriors who will fight to limit government. Tommy Pope, a respected political leader and prosecutor. Tyler Servant and Hood Temple, two people who work at the intersection of business and local politics. And Case Britton and James Teeple, two important voices from the Grand Strand and the Low Country.
Hush. That was 9 people. She narrowed it down to 9. And a little inside baseball here. I talked to Adam Morgan's dad today. Adam Morgan knew nothing about this. Nobody asked. According to Adam Morgan's dad said nobody has even talked to Adam Morgan about this. And Jordan Pace, I believe he is not going to be accepting this if it even happens. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. Let me see if I can find out this comment from Jordan Pace. Yes, he says, South Carolina State Jordan Pace released the following statement. This was today. I proudly endorse Congressman Ralph Norman for governor early in the race because I believe strongly in his leadership and vision for South Carolina. After last week's primary results, I communicated directly with both Lieutenant Governor Evetts and Attorney General Wilson's campaign that I did not intend to endorse either side in the runoff. My position remains the same. I am not endorsing in this race. I am grateful to have been included in Lieutenant Governor Evetts' list that she is considering for Lieutenant Governor. There are many strong conservatives on that list, which is encouraging. The real story here is the success and the growing influence of the South Carolina Freedom Caucus. It is a statement to our principled fight for smaller government, free markets, traditional family values, and individual liberty that both candidates for governor in this runoff are speaking positively about. Freedom Caucus priorities, and the current and past chairman of our caucus are under serious consideration for lieutenant governor. This is a validation that our message is resonating and advancing in the conservative cause in South Carolina, no matter who wins the nomination. So we are no closer. Now, she's not going to announce who her pick is going to be until after Tuesday, when everybody goes to the polls. Now, it used to be here in South Carolina that we elected a governor, and then in a completely separate election, we elected our lieutenant governor. Now, a lot of times throughout history, the governor and the lieutenant governor did not exactly see eye to eye. I think that one of the most famous examples was Mark Sanford and Andre Bauer. Andre didn't like Mark Sanford, and Mark Sanford didn't like Andre. And I think that was really, really what made us go to the ticket system. But once we got that ticket system, they should have built something into this where you had to announce who your running mate was going to be before people actually went and voted. Because as the lieutenant governor, you have great potential responsibility. You don't have that much great actual responsibility, but you've got great potential responsibility that if anything happens to the governor, God forbid, then the lieutenant governor would take over and be the governor. So I believe that the people of South Carolina deserve the right to know who somebody is who's going to be on the ticket. Now, Alan Wilson has picked Mike Rickenbaugh, a guy with just unbelievable credentials. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, would I love to see a Freedom Caucus member as a member of the executive branch of South Carolina? Absolutely, I would. I would do that. I would love it. I think it would be a great thing. What a voice, what a bully pulpit that they would have. And then maybe we could get some of this ridiculous legislation stopped. Hopefully, we could. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm telling you what, this has been the weirdest election season. Charlie, pick doesn't matter, voting for Wilson. Okay, there you go. Hey, Charlie, I think Pamela is confused. She seems to think she's running for president. Charlie, she hasn't narrowed it down at all. We know it isn't going to be Adam Morgan. Patrick Haddon would be a great selection. Oh, my goodness, did she say Adam Morgan? He would never work with her. Charlie just paid $2.99 for a gallon of gas at Circle K in Spartanburg. Hallelujah. Charlie says, yes, we can on Obama's building. Sorry, but no, he didn't. Yeah, we'll talk about that coming up. Charlie, God willing, that lady will lose the election, even though she's Trump's pick. I know that was coerced, and just because of that, I did not want her. And goes on. Charlie, Pamavet's lieutenant governor list has more depths than Clemson's roster. Yeah, right? Well, there you go. So lots of people talking about that. Well, we did have something happen today in Columbia with Henry McMaster. Henry McMaster signed a bill today. Was it a bill to fix our roads? Well, no. Was it a bill to fix our bridges? No, that wasn't it. Limit government? No, that wasn't it. Oh, it has to do with bicycles. We'll tell you about that coming up next. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Total consciousness for the afternoon swoon. You've tapped into the Charlie James Show.
The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Oh, look, y'all. Henry McMaster did something. Yeah, he's still there. Apparently he's working part-time now, getting ready for retirement. But our state legislature, they had this bill. It's called the Palmetto Stomp. Do you know what that is, Palmetto Stomp? This is a bill. Now, remember, we've still got problems with our roads. Still got problems with our bridges. We're spending too much money. They're overtaxing us. I mean, it's just the state is not really doing well. Education's horrible, blah, blah, blah. You name it, we're miserable at it. But we got this problem solved. The Palmetto Stop is it's a bill called Stop as Yield. Now, what this bill means is that if you are a bicyclist and you're going down the street in downtown Greenville or wherever, all throughout the state, and there's a stop sign in front of you, you, as a bicyclist, do not have to consider that stop sign a stop sign. You just have to consider that stop sign a yield sign. Okay, so oh boy. So under the law, cyclists can treat stop signs as yield signs when it is safe to proceed. Now at red lights, cyclists must still come to a complete stop, but they may move through the intersection once they determine the way is clear, even at a red light. Now, they say it's designed to make the roads safer and reduce confusion between cyclists and drivers. Jamie McDonough, co-owner of Reedy Rides, said, being right here in downtown Greenville, seeing the intersections, most people don't know there are cyclists here. But if you don't know, and a cyclist comes from a complete stop and has to roll through and try to catch up to traffic, it's very dangerous for everybody. Intersections are often some of the most challenging areas for people on bikes, where timing and visibility can create conflicts and with vehicles. Now, I thought it was the law that you had to walk your bicycle across an intersection. I thought that's what the law said. Cyclist Rhonda Felder, this is from WCBD, said that the law gives riders. Okay, now here's the problem. This statement I have a little problem with. Cyclist Rhonda Felder said the law gives the riders more control to judge conditions for themselves. Okay, all right. Is that what we really want them to do? My real issue with cyclists happened when I was living in downtown Charleston. I will promise you 3 times a week minimum, I had to hit my brakes because a cyclist blew through a stop sign. Cyclists have been treating stop signs as yield signs for decades now. So they say, before you weren't sure if the person was going to acknowledge you or not. If you can tell they're not there, it's a lot easier because you're making the decision on your own. I don't even understand that statement. I really don't. Despite the change, cyclists are still required to yield to anyone who has the right of way. Riding recklessly or entering intersections without checking conditions remains illegal. Supporters pointed the research that shows many bicycle crashes occur at intersections. I will go a step further, and I will tell you that most bicycle crashes occur where bicycles are present. So if you want to really take it down to zero, stop riding on the roads. Okay, but anyway, you know what I've found about cyclists? They're rude. They are entitled. They believe they own every inch of the road. You go down to Reedy Falls on a Saturday or a Sunday, it doesn't matter, or maybe a random work day. Those cyclists will mow you down, man. They will. Got the little bell, bring, 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 bring. Nope, don't like that. Don't like that. Listen, you're going to leave this up to the cyclist judgment? I'm here to tell you right now, you're going to see more accidents with bicyclists after this law is passed, which it has. Let's go to Doug in Greenville. Doug, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, I
Hey,
hope
man.
you're doing great today, sir.
I am, yes, sir. What's going on?
Well, you know, it's kind of ironic that you talk about bicyclists and stop signs because when they built the Swamp Rabbit Trail,
Yeah.
on the trail, pedestrians and bicyclists actually have a stop sign, and there's a sign that says vehicle traffic does not stop.
Yeah.
But yet they'll run right out in front of you every time. And the Greenville News actually did a great article on that many years ago. And it's just one of those things when you're approaching the trail on a vehicle, there's a sign saying, oh, there's, crossing traffic.
Right.
But the people on the trail actually have the duty to stop, except at the two places where there's a red light.
Okay, because I know when we go, like every now and then, my wife and I will take the dogs down to Swamp Rabbit Cafe, and the Swamp Rabbit Trail runs there, and I see them running through those little, they're little tiny stop signs for them, but they run through them all the time.
And there is a sign underneath there that says vehicle traffic does not stop.
Yeah.
But vehicles still stop to try to be nice, but
Sure.
it still creates a lot of confusion.
Yeah, I don't think this law is going to be all that great of a thing. I appreciate it, Doug. Thank you very much. Let's go to Gene in Greenville. Gene, what's going on with you, man?
You brought up this business about the cyclists, and which is interesting. They and you brought up their demeanor. They're entitled. No doubt these guys have a degree of wealth.
Well, wait a minute. Let me just say, I was painting with a pretty broad brush there. Not all of them are like that, but a lot of them are.
Well, let me go back to my point. I'm not focused on the cyclists per se, but they fit into a mosaic pattern of something that perhaps I've been enlightened to over this particular primary period, some information. And that is, it's interesting that Henry McMaster was the first Republican to support Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm thinking, then finding out that this guy has a son who is what kind of a lawyer? I just like God, I can't even remember the name of it. It's got something. I'll call him a vacation
Yeah,
lawyer.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. A vacation
a
lawyer. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what the heck, a resort lawyer?
Yeah.
I mean, and then Pamela
Yvette's
interest, and even that of Nikki Haley. And I'm assembling all this thought. I said, you know what? I'm not allowed to use this word, BASTARDS, are trying to do? I said, I just finally figured this out. They want to convert the entire state of South Carolina to a wealthy, a resort for the wealthy. All the construction that's going on here, and that certain roadways will be attended to, many of us won't. So as to discourage the working middle class, and then we're going to have a poverty class, and that includes also the illegal aliens that are here, and those who are on welfare if they want to work, that they can be hired at cheap labor pages for Oprah Winfrey to build a whole bunch of castles, and the Obamas to build a whole bunch of castles here in South Carolina. And you and I, Charlie, we're going to be told, get out of here, get out of here. Am I making sense to you?
It seems like...
I moved to South Carolina 19 years ago, for my elderly years, the idea of, I'm going to live here, with my family, etc., and this is, I think, a wonderful place to have family. But it's not going to be. It's not if they have this Las Vegas, Nevada resort mentality or this New Orleans, Bourbon Street mentality.
Yeah.
For the future.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why they want the casinos here, Gene. I got to run here,
that's
but
right.
let me go to Ray in Brevard. Ray, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. I just want to say, man, I am so glad to hear you making comments about this bicycle thing on the highway.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, Brevard, North Carolina, Transylvania County, it is so ridiculous, man. These idiots get out on the highway, the curvy mountainous roads, and don't have a clue as to how much danger they pose to themselves as well as fellow drivers in a vehicle. I mean, you got to think, man, you see a 4,000-pound hunk of steel coming down the road at 50 mile an hour, they can't just stop on a dime or get out of the way or keep from running over somebody. And I just don't think they stop to think for a second. If you're on a bicycle, you are no match to be on sharing the same roadway with these 4,000 plus pound hunks of steel.
Yeah.
You have no defense. If something bad were to happen, you're a goner.
Yeah, you're right. They got to be careful out there. And I don't think laws like this are going to help. I appreciate it, Ray. Speaking of Brevard, my dog Artie hates bicycles. Cannot stand them. He goes crazy when he sees a bike. So my wife and I we're going up to Brevard a couple of years ago. And we got up there and danged, what was going on? They had this huge bike race in Brevard. 3,000 bicycles were in this race. I thought Artie was going to lose his ever-loving mind. And I know how he feels. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Mark Levin. Join me tonight at 7 following Charlie James for the Mark Levin Show, a News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
President Trump, the Energizer Bunny, is speaking at Joint Base Andrews this afternoon, and he is basically doing the unveiling of the brand new Air Force One. And folks, let me tell you something. This plane is gorgeous. If you thought the paint scheme on our old Air Force One, which we've had since Jackie Kennedy, if you thought that was pretty, this new Air Force One is so classy looking. It is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's a 747-8, and it was gifted to us by Qatar. Yes, Secret Service, everybody, they went through this thing with a fine-tooth comb, make sure everything was on the up and up, and probably obviously retrofitted it with a lot of security devices and things like that, evasive sorts of technology. But I cannot wait to see this thing in person. It is gorgeous. Check out the new paint scheme of that plane. It is magnificent. Okay, we just had a caller in from Brevard. The folks up there in Western North Carolina are issuing a warning that folks in Western North Carolina need to be watching out for armadillos. Yep. In a statement issued on social media, North Carolina Cooperative Extension warned residents about the presence of 9 banned armadillos in the region, considering them invasive and a pest. Officials say in their search for underground invertebrates, slugs, grubs, things like that, these animals can dig deep burrows that can undermine foundations of buildings. In the wild, they can damage forest ecosystems. Wildlife officials warn residents not to approach the animals in the wild and suggest trapping is the simplest way to deal with them. So let's see what happens with that. Now, I've also heard, and I don't know how true this is, and I'll be honest with you, I've never seen an armadillo. I've seen ex-armadillos on the side of the road. I've seen former armadillos, but I've never actually seen an armadillo. But I've heard that they carry leprosy. Sorry, I just bit my lip again. I heard that they carry leprosy. So yeah, getting near those things, probably not a good idea. Trapping them probably will be a lot safer, like they say. So be on the lookout for the 9-banded armadillo up in Western North Carolina. Those things can absolutely wreak havoc. All right, the WRD talk line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Hey, Charlie, speaking of two-wheelers, especially expecting 500 motorcycles at the Mighty Moo Parade. Let's get ready to, that is a phrase that I cannot say on radio. There are a lot of things I can say on radio, but the let's get ready to blank, I cannot say because I'll get sued. How do I know that? Because I've been sued before. So yeah, you guys out there, if you were looking for something really awesome to do for Father's Day this weekend, the Mighty Moo Festival going on there in Cowpens. You don't want to miss out on that. We'll be right back. And when we do, we're going to be talking about data centers, especially the one in Spartanburg, and what a nightmare these things are causing. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When Charlie's not teeing off on the left, he's teeing off on the links. You're in full swing on the Charlie James Show.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk. Charlie. Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking. News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Yes, sir. And we are back. Well, you know, data centers have been all the, man, I tell you what, these things just started springing up out of everywhere. And a lot of people still got a lot of questions about these data centers. I mean, number one, they use a tremendous amount of energy. Number two, they use a tremendous amount of water. Number three, they take up a tremendous amount of space. And there's a number four that a lot of people haven't been talking about, but we'll bring that to you coming up in just a second. The fourth part of this thing. So in Spartanburg, and this is from Fox Carolina, some Spartanburg County residents are questioning whether county leaders knew about a proposed data center at 300 Jones Road long before they say they did. County Council voted on Monday to direct staff to draft a one-year moratorium on data centers. Several council members said they only took up the moratorium after recently learning a data center was being proposed for the site. What does that mean, recently? Recently? In the past month? A lot of people have known about this since March. Wharton's digital planned partnership with Lighthouse Data Centers called for the development of a 151-acre data center campus at 300 Jones Road. Public records showed the property had been acquired by an affiliate of Lighthouse Data Centers. Back on March 6th, Spartanburg County County resident Courtney McLean spoke at length about her concerns regarding the proposed data center at a public meeting. Spartanburg County resident Emery Caravello said a group of residents has met with some council members for months to discuss concerns about the proposed data center. And he said, I think it's just very interesting way to finally bring it to the public in forms of a moratorium when we've known about this for a few months at least, Caravello said. County Councilwoman Jessica Coker said council was aware of the Project Lighthouse, but did not believe it was an active proposal until a permit request was filed for the address. She said, we are aware of the Project Lighthouse, as we named it Project Lighthouse. However, I was pretty confident, council was pretty confident, administration was pretty confident. Giving past history, the companies tend to explore other locations once council made a decision not to offer tax incentives for these types of projects. So a lot of people are saying, you guys have known about this for a long time, and you're just now doing something about it? County Council members Jack Mabry and Jessica Coker are both seeking re-election this year. Early voting started one day after council announced plan to draft the data center moratorium. And some residents are questioning the timing. But like we said, these things, they take up a lot of energy. They use a lot of water. And they use a lot of real estate. But that brings us to the fourth problem of data centers. I want you to listen to this.
Imagine living next to this and having to hear this constant ringing.
So, Hari, we're at your front door.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look in the distance, and there it is.
There it is. It's right there in all its glory.
There it is, the Vantage Data Center, standing tall with its blue walls and massive generators right next to this Sterling, Virginia neighborhood.
What did you think when they first turned it on?
Well, we were told in the beginning that it's just they test the generators to make sure they're working in case of an emergency. That is what we were told in the beginning. And then as the year and the months have gone on,
They just never turned off?
They're just never turned off.
Hari says they told them the generators were just temporary, but that was more than a year ago. The massive data center was never hooked up to the power grid, so the generators are the only source of electricity.
You just hear this noise, it's just like, you just want to curse, you know, it's that bad.
Greg Pirio also lives right next door.
Our concern is property values. Unless we can mitigate this, and we're talking about lawyers with options of what we can do and all that, you know, we know that we're not going to get the values for our homes that we could have gotten before.
It's about more than money, it's quality of life. One neighbor here even put plexiglass up against the window to block the noise. And they have their own sound meters to monitor the noise.
This is a dashboard that some of my neighbors set up.
Virginia is the data center epicenter of the world. There are hundreds of them, consuming more than 20.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine living next to that noise 24/7, day in and day out? Yeah, it'd be worse than living at a railroad track because it never stops. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Vinny in Boiling Springs. Let's see if I can push that button. Vinny, welcome. How are you?
Hey, how are you, Charlie?
Doing good, man.
Briefly, I know we've moved on, but I'm going to touch base back there about McMaster's. Oh,
yeah.
What a sorehead he is. Who in their right mind signs a bill in like that? That's crazy. And like you said, up until the first one that gets killed by a vehicle coming by because of this new law that allows them to go rolling through a stop sign, that is crazy. So crazy. And moving on to this deal with these electrical
the data centers.
Yeah, the data centers. We don't need that here in South Carolina.
No. Have you noticed something, Vinny? Have you noticed something interesting? They're not putting up solar farms to power these things. They're not, equipping them with solar panels. They've got diesel generators.
And it's crazy that they're doing that. I mean, it's another way to start taxing us for something we don't want. Just like that deal that with the electric cars. Who the hell wants one of these?
Yeah. Not a lot of people. You're right. Hey, Vinny, I appreciate it, buddy. Want to go to David in Greenville. David, welcome.
Charlie, what's up, brother?
Hey, this is it, man.
Charlie, you're my favorite radio personality.
Thank you. What's going on?
You are the man. First-time caller.
First-time caller. There you go. Good job. What's up, man?
Man, these bicycles, look, it would take the rest of your show to talk about the run-ins I've had with these guys that have been doing this for years before this bill's being signed into law by disaster. But my question is, I have two questions. Number one is, how do they plan on conveying this to the drivers across the state of South Carolina before something bad happens? I mean, are they going to be putting up signs at each light?
I will almost promise you that the state is going to pay money to put up signs at as many stop signs as they possibly can. It's going to cost us a lot of money.
Legally, what happens? Can the bicyclist sue for injuries? I mean, especially if there's nobody there. How are they going to handle that? How are they going to figure that out?
I don't know. Here's what and again, I mean, this is going to cause more problems than it solves.
Look, I used to live in Berea. I used to live near Furman. There's a road that runs from White Horse Road to whatever that road is that Furman's on. There is a bicycle crossing there. Very low visibility. There's trees on each side of the sidewalk, right up on the sidewalk. You can't see anybody coming. And I think the last time I drove by there was yellow lights flashing, but there was a sign that says yield to crossing traffic or whatever. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I think a girl got killed there a few years ago. I'm thinking, and this is your answer, is to just tell them to just blow through there?
Yeah.
And people don't even notice the sign?
Right. Exactly. People are going to get hurt. Well, I appreciate it, David. Thank you. Want to go to Mike in Travelers Rest. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention about the data centers. Spent 20 years in construction before I retired, mostly building those things.
Uh-huh.
So they've been coming around for a long time. Most of the big ones you'll find within a 50-mile radius of a military base for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And the ones that are coming on now are more for the public, your telephones, your television. Everybody thinks, oh, it's mobile. Well, that all goes to a data center.
Yeah.
So if they don't want them, it's kind of like wanting a refinery in your backyard or getting all the natural gas off the Carolinas coasts that we've got. Every time the opposition just pumps enough money in it to keep it from happening. Those people up in Virginia, the reason they're running them on generators is because they filed petitions and kept the power company from hooking them up to the power grid. So,
that's pretty amazing. I appreciate it, Mike. But again, remember, everybody, even Bill Gates. Bill Gates, he was Mr. Environmentalist, Mr. Global warming is an existential threat to our planet. He's changed his mind, and it wasn't because he came to the realization that global warming was a hoax. He came to the realization that there was a lot of money to be made in data centers, and data centers require a lot of energy. You ought to see the size of these generators. These generators are the size, and I bet in that one that I just played for you in Virginia, there must have been 40 of them, the size of a tractor trailer. These things are massive. Let's go to Dwayne in Greenville. Dwayne, welcome.
I think the lawyers have a case if they set the precedent that the airports have with decibel level restrictions.
Yeah.
And compare those to what's being put out by these data centers. I think they got a shot.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. They could sue. Maybe. Could you imagine? I appreciate it, Dwayne. Could you imagine them actually shutting one of those things down? That would be a lot of money. But they ought to be more forthcoming. They really should. And these city councils and county councils and all of these people that are approving these things, those people need to have their feet held to the fire. Every single one of those people around that data center that I just played for you a minute ago, you need to be going to your county council meeting. And you need to be demanding answers. Because government is supposed to be responsible to you, but I know they don't want to be. But speaking of people that don't want to be responsible to you, in California, they just passed a new law that if you file a FOIA request, now listen to this, if you file a FOIA request, they're going to charge you $66 an hour. $66 an hour for them for them getting the information that you asked for. And here's the heck of it all. They get to decide how long it takes. Because they don't want anybody asking questions about the government in California. They don't want to. They don't want anybody knowing. Now, remember, they're always the ones talking about how, Donald Trump's an authoritarian and, oh, no kings. That's a bunch of BS. The left is far more authoritarian than anybody in the right, far more. And not only that, if you file a FOIA request in California and they think you requested it through malicious intent, in other words, you're going to use this information to talk bad about the government, they can take you to court. And then you're going to have to pay a lawyer to go in there and defend yourself. There are a lot of free speech nonprofits out there that really hate this new language in this bill, claiming that obtaining governor records would cost more. Currently, agencies are generally only charging for copying costs, and that's it. But they want to make it in California almost impossible for anybody to get information about exactly what is going on in their government, because they want to operate in secret. That's the way they like it. And that's what we have always got to fight against. When we get back, Michelle Obama really put her foot in her big mic mouth. We'll tell you all about that coming up. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When nasty weather strikes, stay in the know with the upstate's largest staff of meteorologists 24/7 on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Just a few minutes ago, we told you that the authorities in Western North Carolina have issued a warning against armadillos, the 9-banded armadillo. These things, I mean, they're destructive because they're not native to the habitat. Let's go to Richard in Dallas and talk to him. Richard, you got any armadillos up there?
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. This is true, too. I used to work for the town of Shelby, and it's a small town about an hour and a half west of Charlotte.
Uh-huh.
And this has been 15 years ago. They got a call. The police department got a call about an armadillo being in an outbuilding. Well, they went to check it out, and sure enough, there was a mama in that little outbuilding and had 3 little ones. Well, they launched an investigation about this on account it was an invasive species.
Yeah.
Well, they determined that after their investigation, the Shelby Police Department, whoever got involved, determined that what happened was those armadillo were transported accidentally from the people that moved into that house. They had moved up from Texas. And my point is that, those armadillos has probably been around for a while, and people are just not seeing them. And another thing, are they nocturnal or do they forage during the daytime?
I know absolutely nothing about an armadillo. I would imagine since you don't see them in the daytime, they are probably nocturnal. I don't know.
Well, I wonder how you could go. I heard you talking about the best way to deal with them is trapping them.
Yeah.
With them eating grubs and worms and, such as that. I wonder what a guy could bait in his have-a-heart trap to catch one if they was around. You understand?
I don't know. Maybe put some peanut butter in there. I don't.
Maybe buy a box of fishing worms or something.
that would work. I appreciate it, Richard. Thank you very, very much. Well, they have dedicated the giant garbage can, also known as the Obama Presidential Library, the most uninspiring, hideous piece of architecture I've ever seen in my life. It's not inspirational. It doesn't get what was his whole administration about? Hope. I'm going to give you hope. That thing does not give people hope. It's horrible. It's depressing looking. And listen, that's befitting of Obama. But Michelle Obama gave a speech at the ceremonies there for the Presidential Library, and I want you to listen to what she said, because I find this to be very interesting.
Immigrants proving what it truly means to be a dreamer. These folks aren't Americans too. They are America. They are the beating heart of this country. They are us, and we are them. And to ignore this simple truth, to refuse to respect the contributions and experiences of people who aren't exactly like us, y'all puts us all at risk.
Yeah. Speaking of risk, what you failed to mention, Big Mike, was the fact that a dreamer was the person who came up with the idea to wage a mass casualty event at Freedom 250. That was a dreamer. That was one of these people that came. That's one of those people that are us and we are them. No, you're wrong about that. We are not, and they are not. They have no loyalty. They have no dedication. Now, I'm not talking about all of them, but a lot of them will still fly the Mexican flag at their homes. They are not here to assimilate. And this guy planned a mass casualty event at Freedom 250. That doesn't sound like me. That doesn't sound like anything I would do. Does it sound like you? Probably not. But Michelle Obama gave another interview here recently, and this one really had some people scratching their heads. So this is from, this is from Good Morning America. I want you to listen to this. And people are like, what did she say? Here we go.
One word to describe your next chapter. One word. Fun.
So, Barack says, fun. I'm going to have fun. I'll bet it's easy to have fun when you got millions of dollars and you got 4 homes worth $48 million. You got one in Martha's Vineyard. You got one in Hawaii. A couple more homes that you like to go to. I'll bet fun's real easy for the Obamas now. But what does Michelle say? Listen to this.
Me.
That's what you call drop the mic. You know what? You seem to be grading her higher on her answer.
Yeah, me. Well, let me tell you something. This is nothing new. This is nothing new with Michelle Obama. It's always been about her. It's always, where else? I mean, can you take a young lady, young African-American girl, and she becomes the first lady of the United States and is somehow still oppressed? How do you take someone and give them millions and millions and millions of dollars? You give them a big Netflix deal. You get them, and they're producing. In fact, they did produce one show that my wife and I watched, and we really liked. But how can you do that and then still in some way be oppressed? That's easy. That's the easy way out. I am oppressed. I am the oppressed. Oh, and all the eyes were on me when I was in. Yeah, listen, First Lady, all eyes are always on the First Lady. From Jacqueline Kennedy, Barbara Bush, Laura Bush, all of them. Hillary Clinton, although people probably did look away from that one. Melania, you think all eyes aren't on Melania Trump, even though they won't put her on the cover of a magazine? Even though they make fun of this woman that speaks 5 languages, all eyes are still on her. So, but no, it's her. It's her. And she was even upset that just like every other president, the Obamas had to pay for their own food in the White House. Yeah, they send. I don't know if you know that. They send them a bill every month. Here's what Barack is like, Big Mike, you want him on a... Anyway, so yeah. This woman is now going to make her life about her. That is unbelievable, but absolutely typical. It really is. All right, coming up in just a second, we are going to go to the polls on Tuesday. We're going to be voting for who will ultimately be the next governor of the state of South Carolina. We got some new poll numbers and some questions about something that happened today. We'll get into that. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie tells it like it is, whether they like it or not. You're locked into the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, I want to go to Gerald in Cowpens. How you doing, Gerald?
Hey, happy Friday, brother.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
This is Charlie. Now, with the Obamas owning 4 homes, I wonder if they're having a hard time now finding a shelf.
A shelf? What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. I don't get it. Explain it. Oh, he didn't explain it. I don't know. I didn't get it. All right, listen. You folks out there, there's this guy running for office here in the upstate, Mike Stacey. This is a guy that was another guy that was a Democrat that is now claiming to be a Republican. And here's the hell of it all. There are people out there, Republicans, listen to what I'm telling you. Republicans are supporting this guy, Mike Stacey. That boggles the mind. So let me just give you a couple of examples, and I want to thank whoever posted this over on Facebook, because I looked it up, and they're absolutely right. Mike Stacey buys into the idea that Christian conservatives are fascist. He despises Donald Trump. According to his Facebook post, he despises Donald Trump. And by the context of one post right after the 2024 election, he voted for or supported the opposition, one Kamala Harris. He was apparently pro-lockdown, anti-medical freedom. He had one post supporting Roe v. Wade, pro-Fauci. He mocked the idea that 2020 election was stolen. He encouraged people to provide tips to the FBI for the J6 protesters. He was supportive of the J6 narrative that is still being used to this day to destroy conservatives. He reposted quotes, images, and ideas from the likes of Bernie Sanders, Stacey Abrams, Greta Thunberg, and Tom Steyer. He reposted Mullen McLeod as late as February of 2026. This is amazing. I don't understand. Well, one person said, "Oh, I'm going to vote for him because he's anti-establishment." Well, good Lord, he sounds like he's anti-Republican. In fact, he sounds like he's anti-American. So if you folks are out there, you're deciding to vote for Mike Stacey, I would second guess that decision. So listen to this. He back on August 2nd, 2025. This is Mike Stacey. Is there anyone running for Spartanburg County Sheriff or Spartanburg County Council that is not supportive of Donald J. Trump? Any effing body? Is everyone in the tank for that child molesting POS? That's Mike Stacey. That's the guy Republicans, I don't get it, are thinking about voting for. Good grief. That's a damn shame. Really is. Well, had breakfast this morning, 4th District Republican Club. Lots of people were there. Alan Wilson was there. Pamela Vett was there. And Pamela Vett came out with a list of people today that she is planning on asking to be her running mate for lieutenant governor. And I want you to listen. This is what Pamela Vett said. Hold on just a second. Got to let it run here. Here we go. Here's Pamela Vett laying out the list. Here we are. I think, wait a minute, hold on, doggone it, got to do this. Here we go.
My list for consideration as the next Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina is as follows. Joe Semsar, a successful business leader and Trump appointee. Adam Morgan, Jordan Pace, and Patrick Hadden, true conservatives. Warriors who will fight to limit government. Tommy Pope, a respected political leader and prosecutor. Tyler Servant and Hood Temple, two people who work at the intersection of business and local politics. And Case Britton and James Teeple, two important voices from the Grand Strand and the Low Country.
All right, so that was Pamela Vett with her picks. So you got Joe Semsar, Adam Morgan, Jordan Pace, Patrick Hadden, Tommy Pope, Tyler Servant, Hood Temple, Case Britton, and James Teeple. That's her picks. But we'll see what happens with that. Now, we do have some new polling numbers for this governor's race. And who was this by? This is from another poll from Alan Wilson's camp by NPA Polling from June 17th and 18th. Alan Wilson is leading this race with 52% of the vote, and Pamela Vett has 34%, according to this poll. The remaining portion, 14%, is undecided. Wilson's total support from the previous NPA survey, which was June 10th through the 11th, is unchanged, although the percentage of respondents who said they were definitely voting for him, that went from 38 to 42%. I want to thank Fitz News for that polling data. Thank you very much, Will, over there. So it just seems to me like right now the Alan Wilson train is rolling. Now, I spoke with Alan Wilson today, and he told me, looked me straight in the eye, and he said, Charlie, if I win this race, actually said when. He said, when I win this race, I am going to be accessible to you. I'm going to be accessible to your radio station, and I want you to hold me accountable. He said, grill me. When I call in, grill me. He said, I want you to hold me accountable. And I respected that greatly. I really did. I really, really did. And I think Alan Wilson at this point would be the guy that you could call up, that I could, and maybe I won't get him on in 5 or 10 minutes, but certainly it would happen. Unlike Henry McMaster, who has he ever done a radio interview with anybody but NPR? Ever? Not since I've been here. Heck, I couldn't even get him on the air down in Charleston. So you go to the polls on Tuesday. You're going to be voting for your governor, your attorney general, and your commissioner of agriculture. If you are in some of those districts that have runoffs as well, those candidates will be on the ballot too. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Eyewitnesses want it when you see news. Email news@989WORD.com.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Well, I just told you that Pamela Abbott has has narrowed it down to 9 people to be her possible lieutenant governor. One of those people is Adam Morgan. Adam just sent me this comment. Yeah, and by the way, I talked to Adam's dad this morning, and he's like, hey, he didn't even know about it. Adam didn't even know about it when this thing was announced. But here's what Adam Morgan said. Yesterday, I learned my name is under consideration as a potential lieutenant governor candidate by Pamela Abbott. I was very surprised by and grateful for the consideration. I ran on Ralph Norman's ticket as lieutenant governor because our values aligned across the board. My views remain unchanged on wasteful spending, casinos, Scout Motors, Traxler's appointment, etc. Just to be clear, if I were lieutenant governor, the role would be used to strongly advocate for those beliefs every day. Last week, I publicly stated my intent not to endorse in this runoff. That also remains unchanged. Both Alan Wilson and Pamela Abbott are committed to working with conservatives, and we have had numerous productive conversations to that end. To quote Representative Jordan Pace, the real story here is the success and growing influence of the South Carolina Freedom Caucus. The fact 3 different gubernatorial candidates considered me for their lieutenant governor is a testament to the South Carolina Freedom Caucus's hard work and principled stand. I look forward to working with whomever the voters select to move the state in a more conservative direction. That was from Adam Morgan. We will see how all of that works out. Well, there was Donald Trump made a statement the other day about Giorgia Meloni, the Italian prime minister. And is she prime minister or president? I can't remember. But anyway, he said that she was begging him for a picture. Now, remember, Meloni and Trump were on the outs because she did not want to allow Italian airspace or allow Italian air bases to be used in the war against Iran. That was a stab in the back by her to Donald Trump, and they've always been pretty good allies. So at the G7 conference, Trump kind of snubbed her a time or two, and she didn't like that. So Trump said she practically begged him for a photograph, and she said, I and Italy never beg. She probably said, I and Italy would never beg. Clearly irked by President Donald Trump's suggestion that she had begged him for a photo at the Group of Seven summit earlier this week, the Italian prime minister said it was totally fabricated. The dispute erupted after Trump told Italian broadcaster La 7 that Meloni had pleaded with him for a photo at the meeting of leading industrialized nations in the French resort of Avon-les-Bains earlier this week. She begged me to take a photo with her. She wanted a photo with me so badly I could have skipped it, but I felt sorry for her, Trump said in a brief interview, which was posted by the channel on its website Friday. Today. But unfortunately, there's video. There is video. I watched some video today. Now, folks, let me tell you something. I have never knowingly been flirted with. Okay, I just tell you that right now. Now, I may have been flirted with before, but I didn't pick up on it. I don't know what flirting looks like. I'm not good at it. I don't know when or if it's happening to me, so therefore I cannot, conclusively say that I've ever been flirted with in my life. So I don't know about flirting. This woman was peacocking in front of Donald Trump. She was doing everything she could to get his attention. So I don't doubt the president when he said she begged him. I really don't. If you go back and look at some of those videos, I mean, she's preening and oh, yeah. Now, maybe even I could pick up on those signals. And I can. You could hit on me with a baseball bat and I wouldn't know what was happening. So anyway, there you go. That's about that. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Italian President, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni did ask for the photo with Donald Trump. But you know what they're doing in the Trump administration? This is kind of weird thing. A lot of them are losing weight. I don't know if you've noticed, but J.D. Vance has lost weight. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has lost weight. Who else we got? We've got several other members of the cabinet that have lost weight over the past few days. And a lot of people are thinking and claiming it's Ozempic or one of those shots. But what they're saying it's sauerkraut. Now, I've been looking at this for a couple of months. Well, actually, yeah, about 6 months, maybe up to a year now. This has been a big craze. It's kind of slowly been building over time. But fermented vegetables are some of the best things that you can put in your body. They truly are. Fermented vegetables. And probably the most popular, well, the two most popular are kimchi and sauerkraut. Now, I don't like sauerkraut unless it's on a hot dog. And I'm pretty sure hot dogs aren't part of this diet. But the Wall Street Journal reported today that Robert F. Kennedy has been joined by Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, and Vice President J.D. Vance. Within 30 days, I lost 20 pounds, Kennedy boasted at an event in Michigan. He said J.D. Vance is also on the diet, and you can see how different he looks. So the diet came up with a guy named Dr. Sean O'Mara, who recommends that patients eat grass-fed steak and fermented vegetables, which includes sauerkraut and kimchi, to reduce visceral fat. He argues that the diet gives adherents a more robust microbiome, which aids digestion. He's been treating high-profile political figures since working at the White House as the White House doctor under President George W. Bush, and continued to do so in private practice. O'Mara doesn't discuss his patients, but he's big on the whole thing. Maybe I might have a little steak and sauerkraut. That might be a pretty darn good thing. Sounds good right now. It sure does. All right, we'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
While others talk rough, Charlie stays smooth, like a perfect putting green.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Well, it looks like they have done it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the end. What a day! And the United States will know for sure they are marching on to the knockout round of this FIFA World Cup.
The United States defeated Australia 2-0 today in the World Cup, and now they're going into the knockout round. Don't know what that means, but there you go. So they're moving on. I might actually watch a USA game to root for. Could you imagine the United States of America winning the World Cup in America, in the United States, the same year we celebrate our 250th anniversary? Could you imagine that? That would be just as great as the U.S. Olympic hockey team. Maybe that good. Almost as good. John said, you're reaching. You're right. It's almost as good. But it would be up there. It would be up there. That would be amazing to see. One of the Australians said, well, the Americans played a really good game. I don't know why we lost. I think we'd all drank a little too much Foster's. So congratulations to the American. And now I'm going to go have a hangover, if you don't mind. So that's that was the actual quote. No, not really. Well, Ro Khanna was on with Maria Bartiromo. This is a guy, Ro Khanna wants to be president of the United States. And if that ever happens, it would be an absolute unmitigated disaster. This guy is as radical a liberal as anybody you've ever met. And listen to what he says. This is pretty amazing. They were talking about the Save America Act. Here he is with Maria Bartiromo.
It's in the cases of some people who are married, that you want them, if they've changed their name, to go and have to prove that with their birth certificate to a registrar.
What's
that
the
they
problem?
changed
Get
the
your
name.
birth certificate. Yes, that's the law. You can't vote if you're not an American citizen. Yes, get your birth certificate. Yes, that's exactly right.
No
problem.
You know what?
I wanted a copy of my birth certificate. I went online. I got the birth certificate. I've got it. It took a week. No problem.
No problem. No problem. I told you guys I did the same thing. It is so easy to get your birth certificate, but they're trying, oh, this makes it hard. It doesn't make it hard whatsoever. It literally took me about 90 seconds. I went through the whole process all the way up to where I had, I hit the paywall and I was going to have to pay $25. I didn't do that. But the entire portion of me getting and remember, nobody's got their original birth certificate. You've got a copy of your birth certificate. It's a certified, copy, but it's not the original. But it works. That's the way it's designed. You can go get one. You can go get one right now. If you wanted to drive down to Columbia, you could probably have one, and however long it takes you to drive down there, give yourself about 30, 40 minutes and then drive it back. That's how long it takes. It really is no problem at all to get your birth certificate. But they're trying to make it out like women, they're just not capable of doing it. Well, let me tell you something, Ro Khanna, what these people don't understand. The same documentation that you needed to change your name when you got married, that's the same documentation that you would need to go and register to vote for the first time. Now, you don't have to do this every time. It's just when you register to vote. Maybe if you change states, you might have to do it again, but there you go. So it's really not a big deal. But they want you to now remember the original line was, well, African Americans, they don't have ID. Well, that got blown out of the water completely. So they said, well, we got to regroup here. What about the women? Women, they have a hard time. They really don't give people quite enough credit. But the Constitution says that only American citizens are allowed to vote in the federal election. So if it says only, then you should have to prove that you are the only portion of that, the American citizen portion. You should have to prove that. I don't have an issue with that. if you've got an entrance to a building that says employees only, you can't go up to them and say, you know what? No, this is too hard. No, that means I got to have an ID and I can't go, I got to go all through this stuff. No. If it says employees only, then you have to prove with a badge or a fob or what. Hell, I got to do that every day when I come into work. Got a little fob. You can't just walk in the building. It's literally the same thing. But then I want you to listen to what he said about non-citizens voting. This is pretty amazing.
Democrats push back on the idea that you have to prove citizenship to vote. What's the problem? Are there just too many illegals in this country voting?
It's not an issue that you have undocumented people in mass numbers voting. You know that, Maria. The data doesn't show that. And the challenge is the way
elections, excuse me one second. Elections have been lost just by 1,000 votes. 500 votes here, 1,000. So when you say, there aren't large numbers of illegals voting, there shouldn't be any illegals voting. It's against the law. Elections
agree.
have been lost by a couple of votes. So just to say, it's not a lot, that's not an answer, sir.
Aha. Not an answer. Okay, something has just happened, ladies and gentlemen. Diddle up, diddle up, diddle up, diddle up, diddle up, diddle up. With much respect to the late, great Rush Limbaugh, radio's greatest of all time. We were expecting this to happen. It was rumored to be happening. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it has happened. President Donald John Trump has just issued a co-endorsement of Alan Wilson for governor of South Carolina. This just happened moments ago, ladies and gentlemen. The President of the United States endorsing Alan Wilson as governor of South Carolina. This is a co-endorsement between Alan Wilson and Pamela Avett. This is unbelievable. I've never heard of this happening before in my life. Alan Wilson just posted 8 minutes ago, I am honored to have the endorsement of President Donald J. Trump. President Trump has fought harder than anyone to secure our border, restore American strength, drain the swamp, protect our freedoms, and put working families first. As South Carolina Attorney General, I have been proud to stand with him in a fight. I defended President Trump's executive orders. I backed his America First cabinet. I fought back against the left's lawfare and political prosecutions. I defended election integrity. I took the Biden administration to court when they tried to force their woke unconstitutional agenda on South Carolina, and I never backed down. It is official. President Trump has endorsed Alan Wilson as governor of South Carolina. Now, this is pretty amazing here. It's pretty amazing because this isn't, not only is this an endorsement for Alan Wilson, it is, in effect, a non-endorsement for Pamela Avett. I mean, that's the only way you can look at it. It really is. This has got to be a gut punch for the Avett campaign. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Get breaking news sent straight to your phone for free. Download the Odyssey app. Follow News Talk 98.9 WORD. Stay in the know with the voice of the Carolinas. Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, I just reached out to Attorney General Alan Wilson, and he will be calling in to the program just as soon as he gets a moment. We'll have to be kind of quick with him because he's very busy out on the campaign trail, and he's all of a sudden got some new stuff to talk about. Let's go to Ken in Nebo. Ken, welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you for the welcome and taking the call. Father's Day, Sunday, I believe. So, a true story. Honest to goodness, would have no reason to call in here without a day that I'll always remember, and I wanted to share it with you.
Okay.
I'm fortunate enough to live close to a power lake up here in Marion, North Carolina, Lake James. Where I live in Nebo, I'm just about 5 minutes through the woods. I can fish anytime.
Right.
So about 7 or 8 years ago, I had some bait left over from the fishing that week. And Sunday morning, church day and everything, I said, well, I got time. Yeah, I've got time. I grabbed the bait out of there, walked down the hill, sat there on one of the crispest, clear, and I remember crisp, clear Carolina blue skies. I watched a kingfisher walking down a log who had beat me to the whole fishing hole, but I started fishing, but I was enjoying the morning so much. I'll never forget it, and you'll hear why when I finish the story. I was just catching a brim or two, a little nibble here, a little nibble there. You know, half the fun of fishing is like golf. It's just being there.
Yeah.
So then as it got closer to needing to leave, about 25 years ago, my life changed. And I said, Jesus, I said, Lord, you could send me about a 15-inch fish by here if you would. I know your power. I know you have the ability, and I'm asking you. But whether it comes or not, I love you. I know how much you love me. And I sat there a little while longer and was getting ready to leave. Got my little old tackle box in that. Before I got up, there went the line. Sure enough, there was something on there. Rolled him in, reeled him in, being short with the story. Got him in. Landed him, and sure enough, fever took over. I put him on a string. I said, "Oh boy, I'll catch another one."
Right.
But after about a minute of thinking of that, I took him back off the stringer, measured him with a stick. I didn't have no way to measure him. Grabbed my stuff, walked back up the hill, laid the stick. When I got back home, I laid the stick on the back of my truck, put my fishing stuff up, and came over and got my tape measure out of my carpet box, and I measured that stick. And I'll always believe there is no closer nano incremental measurement that God has ever allowed on the human face of this earth, other than the 15 inches that fish measured when
did it really
when I measured that stick. And
wow.
You know what? I went on to church and told that story, and I just wanted to share that with you, and hopefully maybe that'll lift somebody up about the power, because He's there, He listens. And Charlie, y'all have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate it, Ken. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. It's a great honor. It's a great responsibility. It's one of those things that, to be honest with you, Father's Day has always been kind of a strange day for me. Mother's Day as well. I did not know my parents very well. I hardly knew my mother. I probably only saw her, liberal estimate, 20 times in my life, if that much. My dad was more of an uncle that dropped by on occasion, other than the several times in my life that I had to, or he wanted to try his hand at being a father, and that never really worked out. So I was raised by my grandparents. And I remember one day we had a little pond. It's about 6-acre pond. And I'd go fishing with my grandfather. And we always had these old John boats with a wooden transom on them. They'd rot out. So when we were fishing, half of my job would be to fish. The other half would be to bail the water out of the boat with a coffee can. And I remember one day we went out to the head of the pond and we were fishing, and the boat was really leaking pretty heavily that day. And I was bailing. Wasn't doing a good job. My grandfather was quiet. He just kept fishing. Some of the greatest conversations I ever had with my grandfather were without saying a word. But I was bailing. Water kept coming into the boat. I kind of started to panic. I kind of kept it to myself a little bit. Water covered my shoes. All of a sudden, the tackle box started floating. And the panic set in, and I said, Granddaddy, what are we going to do? The boat is sinking. What are we going to do? And my grandfather said, stand up. I said, what are you talking about, stand up? He said, stand up. We're in 3 feet of water. So the boat was on the bottom of the pond at that time. And we walked to the shore and walked back to the car, got in the car. And my grandfather said, let me tell you something. He said, if I'm not afraid, there is no reason for you to be afraid. And I always remember that. And then I remembered when we were in the hospital. And the doctor was showing us my grandmother's x-rays. And I saw the look on his face. And I knew it was time to be afraid. Happy Father's Day.
He's got a mic, a mission, and no time for nonsense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. I tell you what, this election season has been nuttier than a fruitcake, and I love fruitcake. I really do. Is it fruitcake season yet? I'm going to get some of that. Now, not only has President Donald Trump co-endorsed Alan Wilson to be governor of South Carolina, now Senator Tim Scott has endorsed Alan Wilson for governor of South Carolina. So the momentum right now has got to be in the Alan Wilson camp. Let's go to Rex in Florence. Rex, welcome. How are you, sir?
Iran and the reflecting pool.
I like the reflecting pool a lot better than Iran. I really do. Thanks for asking, though. I appreciate that. Speaking of that, the reflecting pool, did you know this? The mainstream media, and I got to point the finger, a big old finger, at local news media. Now, listen, there is very little local news right now. Very little. Just about everything that they post on their social media programs, they've got somebody in the newsroom, their social media director or whatever, and they're obviously extremely liberal people. Obviously. And they keep posting about this reflecting pool that Donald Trump had refurbished. Now, there are some problems with it. Okay. Now, this is a huge reflecting pool, so there's some problems with it. Some of the algae's coming back. You know how that's hard to kill. Some of the lining is kind of messed up a little bit, but they're going to get that fixed. But here's the thing: they keep running stories about it. I've seen just about every local news station post stories about the reflecting pool, but do you know what I haven't noticed them posting? I haven't noticed them posting any stories about the fraud investigations. I haven't noticed them posting, and we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars in fraud going on in this country. In fact, I forget who said it. It might have been Tom Cotton. One of them said that fraud cost us it might even be, I think it's like $115 million a day here in this country. And I have seen none of the local news organizations post anything about that. Every single thing that they post is negative, 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 negative. And then for some reason they are just, oh my goodness. They're really laser focused on this reflecting pool thing for whatever reason. You know what they don't post? They don't post how good Columbus Square looks at Union Station. They don't post that the fountains in Washington, D.C. are actually flowing. They don't post the fact that the waterfalls, the man-made waterfalls in Washington, D.C. are flowing for the first time in forever. They don't post that the homeless problem in Washington, D.C., because the National Guard is still there, they don't post anything about that being pretty much cleared up. They don't post the fact that Washington, D.C., you can now walk down the street again without worrying about being accosted. They don't post about crime being reduced. They look for every single day, and I'm pretty sure they go in and say, all right, how can we stick it to Donald Trump now? And those are the stories that they will post. And it's none of their own reporting. It's all from the Associated Press. We used to call it rip and read in television news. You don't need to, here's a story. Just rip it and put it in the teleprompter, and the anchor reads it. It really is Anchorman in a lot of cases. Even worse now. So it infuriates me that here we are in the upstate of South Carolina, and we have got our local news outlets that are so obviously anti-Donald Trump. At least, I mean, anti-Republican, actually. Anti-Republican. I saw one from, it was just today. I was like, and this is what spawned all of this. I mean, it's from YFF. I'm like, good grief, people. Good grief. Let me ask you, did you run a story about why the thing needed to be refurbished in the first place? Because of years of neglect? No, they never do that. It's always find some way to stick it to Donald Trump. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is the Charlie James Show. The right talk now more than ever on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Final hour for this week. Phone lines are open. Give us a call. Chat about anything you want to talk about. Well, one of the things I want to talk about is the fact that we have the House, we've got the Senate, we've got the White House, and we can't get anything done. Probably the most transformative piece of legislation is now sitting in the Senate in the Save America Act, and John Thune will not do anything about it. Now, he kind of let the cat out of the bag here. Kind of let the cat out of the bag when he said that there are, listen to this, Senate Majority Leader John Thune admits that some Senate Republicans hate Donald Trump so much that they will not support the Save America Act. Thune admitted during a closed-door GOP lunch that some Republican senators hate Donald Trump so much that they will never vote for the Save America Act, regardless of how good that piece of legislation is. It doesn't matter. So I would like to know the names of these people, and these names are coming out. And one of them might surprise you. One of them might surprise you. So we know you got McConnell. You know you got Tillis. You know you've got Murkowski. You know you got Collins. You know you got those people. But there are others as well. One of them being John Thune himself. The other being Caputo. The other being Cornyn. And here's one that's going to shock you. Senator Kennedy. Now, I know everybody loves the way that Senator Kennedy talks. They love his folksy banter. They love his metaphors and his similes. But go look at his voting record. Literally, go look at Senator Kennedy's voting record. He's not that strong of a conservative. He really isn't. And these people do not. And what is so bad about? I mean, I want you to listen to John Thune. Listen to what he said here. It's pretty amazing. And David, I'll get to you in just a second. Hold on.
Look, and it's a well-known fact around here. Sometimes perhaps not fully grasped around the country, but anybody who follows this process closely knows that we don't have the votes. And the only way that you could figure out a way to get the votes, and even in that case, the Save America Act didn't even get 50 votes last week on the floor of the Senate. But even if you confine it to just the two issues of photo ID and citizenship in order to register to vote, on those two issues, it takes 60 votes in the Senate. The only way you could get there is to undo or get rid of the legislative filibuster, and there aren't even close to the votes here in the United States Senate in order to achieve that. So
then that is your job as the leader of the Senate Majority Leader. Your job is, here's what I would do if I were Senate Majority Leader. I'd go to every one of these Democrats and said, if you do not vote, the Senate Republicans rather, I go to every one of these Republicans and I said, if you don't vote for the Save America Act, you can kiss your committee assignments goodbye. You will immediately be replaced. When this vote is over, if you vote no, you're done. I'm going to put you on some committee that doesn't matter a hill of beans. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put you on the Welcome Committee. And your job is to welcome new senators to the Senate, because there are going to be a lot of them. And they're probably going to be Democrats. And your job is going to be to kiss up to them. That's what a leader does. But John Thune is not a leader. Let's go to David in Pickens. David, welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good, Charlie.
All right.
I know Mark Lynch lost the runoff against Lindsey.
Yeah.
But can we still write him in
Can,
the election?
if you like.
I would like to start a campaign to do that, sir.
All right. Well,
At this point, people say, oh, you're going to throw your vote away. You're going to give it to the Democrat. Well, I tell you what, at this point, I'm done with Lindsey. I'd rather see the Democrat get it than Lindsey. And I think a good write-in campaign for Mark Lynch might do it.
A lot of people feel the same way, David. They absolutely do. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Good luck with that because, I mean, we are so – and by the way, where's Lindsey Graham on this whole thing? Lindsey Graham's out there. I support the Save America Act. Do you? When's the last time you went on Meet the Press and talked about the Save America Act? When's the last time, Lindsey, that you went on Meet the Press or CNN and said, listen, we got to do away with the filibuster? Because when, and this is not an if, it is a when, the Democrats take back control of the Senate. That is going to be the first thing they do. They're already telling you about this. They're going to do away with the filibuster. Once they do that, because remember, this is just a rule. It's just a rule. It's not even, it's not in the Constitution. So once they do away with the filibuster, item number 2 on their checklist, pack the Supreme Court. Pete Buttigieg wants to put 4 liberal justices on the Supreme Court. Number 3, statehood for Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. Those are the things that they want to do. And I'll tell you, they're not going to let any little filibuster stand in their way. They're not going to, they're going to whip these people into shape. They're going to have those rank and file Democrat senators just so scared to go to work. Whoa, what are they going to do to me today? I better vote the way they want to. You should not, here's the thing. If you can't do that, then you are not a leader. You are not a leader. Let's go to Richard in Travelers Rest. Richard, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, just wanted to tell you a real quick Father's Day story.
Yeah.
Years ago, I worked in heavy equipment, and I had to call on a guy named John Campbell. And I think he was over there. Well, I know he was over there at Anderson County. I went in one day. I was talking to him, and he was picking up heavy stuff. I said, John, how old are you? He said, I think he was like 83 or 84.
Wow.
And I said, John, why don't you just draw your Social Security? And he said, I don't have any. I said, what happened? He said, well, my daughter had MS. We found out when she was 3. So what I did was I was a magazine guy, went around and stuck magazines everywhere. And they didn't pay you, they didn't do the Social Security.
Right.
He said, so when it was time to retire, I didn't have any. But for 28 years, that man picked his daughter up in the morning, took her to a pool, and he went in with her, swimming. And this was before they had heated pools.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, well, then one day he told me, he goes, yeah. He said, she's okay now. I said, oh, well, that's good. I said, what happened? He goes, well, she was a Christian. And she said, Dad, you've been helping me now for 28 years, and I know you're tired. So let's just take tomorrow off. And the next morning he went in and he found his daughter, she had died.
Oh, wow.
Yep. But for 28 years, and I asked him, I said, John, was it worth it? He said, I'm 83 or 84. And he said, just to be able to see her again, I'd get in that pool right now.
Yeah.
No. And I thought, man, what a fantastic guy.
Yeah.
He gave everything for his family and for his daughter. And now he's he's passed on probably by now. But
yeah.
That's an amazing individual right there.
Yeah. There are a lot of good men out there, Richard, but they're getting fewer by the day. I appreciate it, pal. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, don't forget, you got the Mighty Moo Festival going on in Cowpens this weekend. They had all of the folks there honoring all the folks that served the USS Cowpens. So if you're looking for a good parade, good carnival rides, food, and all of that, why don't you head over to downtown Cowpens and check that out. Let's go to Ron in Easley. Ron, welcome, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, Charlie?
I'm doing fantastic. What's up, man?
What's on my mind is probably not what you've been talking about. I was thumbing through my phone trying to sort out some photos that I wanted to get rid of, and I ran across this one here that I'm going to read to you right quick.
Okay.
It's QT. Everybody knows what QT is.
Yeah.
And the date on it is March the 7th of 2022 at 2:46 p.m. in the afternoon. I was there getting some gasoline, and the price on it back then was unleaded was $3.99.
Wow.
Plus,
I said, wow, that was up there. And when was that, 2022?
March the 7th of 2022 at
Wow.
2:46 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, the plus was $4.24.
Yeah.
And premium was $4.49, and diesel was $4.69.
So what is it right now? It's lower than that right now, definitely.
I couldn't tell you right now, but I just wanted people to hear what it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, exactly right. And we forget how bad we had it back then.
Oh, yeah. And one other thing, I just wanted to make a shout out for Rock Springs Baptist Church in Easley. They've got a car show going on up there. It's a lot of old cars and stuff like my son-in-law's GTO.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's got a 67.
All right, you guys get out. What was it about 67 that they just made fantastic cars?
I tell you this, I'm a little older than you think. I've seen them coming up since I was in the 50s. And in 1950, 55, 56 was one of my favorite cars.
You know, everybody talks about the 57 Chevy, but I've always thought the 55 was a nicer looking car.
Well, it did hold its own real well, and
Yeah.
people went for the 57 for one reason, and that's them flared fenders on the back. Them,
Yeah.
we call them feather fenders.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I always thought the 55 was much better. I appreciate it, Ron. Thank you. Let's go to Henry in Hendersonville. How you doing, Henry?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank
All
you.
right.
Beautiful day here.
Yes, sir. What's up?
Oh, I just wanted to share my plan for dealing with John Thune.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think we need to get a recall petition going in his home state, and all of us from out of state should vote with mail-in ballots and not show any ID.
I think that's a perfect idea. Henry, you are a genius, my friend. That's why I love this audience. What a great idea. You just give him a taste of his own medicine. Roger is in Taylor's. What's going on, Roger?
Well, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Charlie.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about Pamela and being a genius.
All right.
And I'm not voting for it. I think this move to name 9 potential lieutenant governors, people, I think it's genius because the early voting's done.
Yep.
And she is going after every single vote that she can get.
Yeah.
She endorsed 2 years ago when Adam Morgan ran against William Timmons. She endorsed William Timmons.
Yeah.
But she's naming Adam Morgan to be her lieutenant governor.
Right.
She's naming a couple other real conservative people and then also liberals. And she's naming them from the upstate to down the low country.
All corners of the state, that's where she's drawing from.
I don't think that she came up with this idea on her own, but I think it's genius that she's doing this.
Yeah.
But she's still not going to steal my vote.
So what do you think about it? I mean, today Alan Wilson got Donald Trump's endorsement. He also got Tim Scott's endorsement. What do you think about those two? I think it's fantastic.
Trump doesn't know. He can't know everything that's everywhere. He doesn't know our state.
Right.
And I'm sure that he did this because of McMaster. But I didn't vote for Pamela. I voted for Ralph Norman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to vote. And I lean more to the outsides. And, I was leaning. I voted for West for the agricultural.
Right.
And I was leaning Cody. But it's just all his negative ads. And then I hear Ford on Frady's show, and I'm like,
Here's the thing about that race. I don't think we can make a bad choice right now.
Yeah, but like I say, but anyway, I think it's genius that she did that, and I hope your listeners don't fall for all these people that she's naming, because she's going to pick somebody that more aligns with her.
Yeah.
And even though she's a Republican, she's not a conservative is the way I think. I think these freedom caucus, Josias Magnus, Adam Morgan, Alan Morgan, those guys, and my House representatives, Stephen Franks.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've got a good one.
Yes, you do.
And just don't fall for it. But anyway, I think that was a slick move, and she's fighting for every vote that she can get.
I think there was the potential that she knew, even though she went on Joey's show, I believe it was this morning, and said that the co-endorsement was just a rumor. I think there was an inkling in her campaign that was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. I appreciate it, Roger. Thank you, buddy. We'll take a quick break and be right back. There's something wrong with AI, and I'll tell you what it is. Coming up next, it's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Not just chatter, local issues that matter. This is the Charlie James Show
on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Let's go to the phones, and we're going to talk to Dee from Thomasy. Dee, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Charlie, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Looking forward to the weekend, buddy.
Yes, sir, indeed. Listen, Charlie, the endorsement from Trump for Alan Wilson.
Yes.
Which is, a little bit different than what we understood.
It is very different. This has been the nuttiest election cycle I've ever lived through. It's been crazy.
Well, I'm just saying, this from my perspective, is a gut punch.
Yeah.
In the vet campaign.
You couldn't look at it any other way. Really.
And this list of 9 potential running mates that Pamela has come out with today, who's to say that any of those, if she gets the nomination or wins the primaries, that any one of those would be her
a running mate,
designated running mate.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. But here's what. Let me tell you what I believe happened. She received a lot of pressure.
Yes.
To pick a running mate, so she had to do something. So she comes out with this list of 9 different people, all different corners of the state, and because she knew she had to do something, so everybody's like, oh, there's a chance I'm going to vote for Pamela Vett because there's a chance that somebody from the Low Country is going to be in it. Somebody from the upstate. And like Roger said a few minutes ago, it was a good political move, but I would like to have some sort of a date about when it's going to be done. But I think a lot of pressure has been put on her, primarily from the people of the upstate, to get a running mate.
Well, exactly, and it should have, as you have said on many occasions, that should be a requirement, or that should be expected of our gubernatorial candidate, to declare who is their running mates before the
before any voting starts.
Exactly. So we know their platforms, where they're, what their program is.
Yeah.
And
we need to know.
this nine people avenue of that's pretty much meaningless when you've already disclosed that there's been at least 1 or 2 that didn't even have any knowledge.
Yeah, Adam Morgan had no idea.
Exactly.
D, I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, I was at breakfast this morning, and I talked to Adam's dad, and he was like, he didn't even know. He had no idea. Let's go to Larry from Cleveland County. Larry, welcome, man.
Yes, sir. I just want to wish you happy Father's Day, and I know you don't have 2-legged kids, but you got the 4-legged kids, and you have to be like-minded like us to understand this call, but they mean just as much to you, and I just want to tell you happy Father's Day, and I'm glad you're a pet lover because they need all the love they can get.
Oh, boy, I tell you what, Larry, I appreciate it. The boss was asking today how the Sophie and Artie were, and I'll tell you what, they've got us so trained. These little moochers, they come in, they don't have a mortgage, they don't have to worry about insurance, they don't have to worry about health care, they don't have to worry, they just get a free room and board, and then we feed them, and they're little Democrats is what they are. We got little Democrats living in our house. They're just sleeping on the couch, sleeping in our bed. We feed them, make sure they got plenty of water and are taken care of. But you know what? They pay us back in love every single day. Every single day. All right. Listen to this. This is a horrible story coming out of England. A toddler, 3 years old, was thrown into a crocodile enclosure. Listen to this. This is crazy. A 3-year-old boy was attacked by a crocodile after being allegedly, this is from The Sun over in the UK, allegedly being thrown in their enclosure by a stranger with learning difficulties. The 30-year-old suspect was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after the horrific incident yesterday at lunchtime, but has already been released from police custody. Police confirmed that the man is not fit to be quizzed by officers and has been bailed out until September the 18th. Listen to this. This is from, I forget which news channel this was over there, but listen to this.
Astonishing story that is coming to us from Huntingdonshire. A 30-year-old man from Norfolk has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after a 3-year-old boy ended up in the crocodile enclosure at the zoo at Oldhurst in Huntingdonshire, leaving him with serious injuries, according to Cambridgeshire Police. That is just coming to us from the police service at the moment. They say that they are with the boy's family in hospital as they wait for news on the treatment of their child. So that is the breaking news. A 30-year-old man from Norfolk arrested on suspicion of attempted murder in Huntingdonshire.
But they are saying that they will not release this man's identity because it would be, are you ready? Racist to do so. It would be racist to release this man's identity. Already out on bail until September the 18th. Good night. England, UK, you have fallen. And the stories become more horrific every single day. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, welcome back to the program. Glad to have you along with us on this Friday afternoon. Father's Day weekend is upon us. Let's go to the phones with Dr. Chuck in Mills River. Chuck, how are you?
I'm astonished. A fellow that threw a toddler into crocodile enclosure was mentally unstable.
Yeah, weird, huh?
It's funny how they didn't tell us the name either, did they?
No, they won't, because that would be racist.
That was but they could tell us where he lived. They knew his address. They could tell us his age.
Yeah.
And remember, we went through this in the United States where you couldn't describe the color of the assailant or whatever. For that very same reason. But then it just became apparent because of the names, and with the Muslims and their names and stuff like that, it kind of gives it away. So
what do you think what do you think the over under is on him being Pakistani?
Oh, I think it's
very good. Very good odds.
Yeah,
very good odds.
Totally agree with you there, because that's there right now. The UK has a very bloody situation on their hands.
Yeah, they do.
Because Ireland's about ready to the IRA is about ready to make a huge comeback, I think.
Yeah,
and
they are.
It's because they're already threatening elected officials over the importation of immigrants.
Yeah, Ireland's had it.
And this is a lesson to be learned. This is a teachable moment that we are already aware of. You and I and the good people of the listening audience. We're already aware of the consequences of what went on before Trump 2.0. We all know that it was a bad idea. We all know that they were bringing in criminals. We all know they were bringing in rapists. And what was yesterday? 200. You were talking 200 quarter million rapes.
225 million rapes.
People.
No, I'm sorry, 225,000 rapes over the past 10 years.
But there was another number that I was reading about that there were underage being groomed.
Yeah, as young as 11. 11.
And these people need to understand the people who are in control saying this is all right, and the people in this country fighting ICE. This is what you get. And when it starts happening to them, they'll understand them. But it's going to be too late. And honestly, Charlie, I'm kind of like you are. I think that the midterms I think we're going to lose the midterms. I don't mean to sound defeatist or anything, but the way things look, I think the same thing about the immigration situation. I think we've kind of already lost.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what,
Trump
though?
made a valiant effort.
Other than all of the investigations and all of the obstructionism that the Democrats are going to do, I don't think it's going to change a lot, because, if you look, we've only had under 40 bills passed because of the Republicans in the Senate. So Donald Trump will keep on ruling with executive order, and maybe J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, they can pick up the ball in 28 and we can continue moving forward. Buddy, I want to get to your brother there, Robert in Mills River. I appreciate it, Chuck.
Right on. Hey, Robert, tell him I said hey.
You have a great weekend. Let's go to Robert in Mills River. Hey, Robert, you got armadillos up there?
Oh, no, but in Mississippi we did. I lived down there for a year or two, and I caught one in a clothes basket one time, and it played possum on me. And I'll tell you something else about them. Yeah, they got two holes. One's about 30 feet from the other hole. You just got to spot around and you'll find their other hole. We used to shoot down into one. We find both their holes, fire down into it with a 22, and then it would run out the other hole. And my friend JP there, he'd blast it with the shotgun and come out the hole.
Y'all had it figured out.
It was just fun all around.
There you go.
12 years old in Mississippi now.
There you go. All right, Robert. Hey, man, I want you to have a great weekend. I'm running short on time here today.
Happy Father's Day, too.
Thank you very much. Everybody out there, and to just continue with that sentiment, all you dads out there, you are just absolutely fantastic. Thank you for your work and your sacrifice and all that you do for your families. You are appreciated. Folks, get out there and show Dad just how much you love him. And we'll see you back here on Monday. As always, God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.